Hello there, this is Eldon Davis. I'm the Director of Focus Futures Consultancy. We are a talent management consultancy business. We provide both recruitment, life coaching services, outplacement as well for different clients. Most of the clients are typically Microsoft or partners, SMEs. We've also provided life coaching to companies like David Lloyd Leisure as well. But I wanted to specifically have a chat with you today about our recruitment process, which is called H.I.R.E.S. Now, it's a very sort of cliched name, but H.I.R.E.S is obviously what we want to do, and is also the real sort of this is the real kind of crux of what we need to do over here and what we do to deliver to our clients on a day-to-day basis. So what we do, number one, the first approach that we have over here is headhunting. So we use a variety of different methods: LinkedIn, Black Book, personal contacts, advertisements, referrals. I also attend events as well up and down the country over a variety of years. And what we also need to sort of focus on during this kind of headhunt and this search period is we need to look at areas such as D&I, also things like the employee value proposition as well. And also, when I'm working for customers or clients on the more longer term engagement or in an interim recruitment role, there's also the notion of talent pipelining, which is incredibly important to make sure that we are ahead of the curve and having those discussions with HR and also the senior leadership to make sure that we're ahead of that curve. The next part of our process is called the interrogation stage. Now, what we do in terms of the interrogation stage, one of the things, because I come from a technical background, a number of customers have actually got me to sit down with them and basically develop technical screening type questions. So this could be anything from 12 to 20 different questions that we'd sit down and sort of look at. It could be around object orientation, it could be around data warehouse principles, anything, all sorts of different questions. Obviously, because I'm not a programmer, these would need to be kind of more linear path type questions, but this is something that I've done for the likes of Koyo, Gamcom, Simpson Associates, Adaptivity, and a number of other Microsoft Gold partners over the years. The other aspect in terms of interrogation that I've got the ability to focus on is around this area of behavioural and competency interviewing. Now, I've worked for a number of different types of consultancies of different sizes. I do have an approach which is kind of almost adapted from an Arthur Andersen type of approach. This is the company that was the kind of precursor to Accenture. And this basically sort of looks at sort of a variety of different types of behaviours, looking at behaviours in the past that determine behaviour in the future. So this is something that I've adapted and worked to and delivered great success into organisations. The other thing that I also focus on as well in terms of the interrogation is also the grit scale process. So we look at grit. This sort of gives you an indication as to how this person is going to respond and the sort of level of tenacity and level of focus that the person is going to have. And particularly in consultancy type roles, candidates really do need this on a day-to-day basis to operate successfully in this type of role. The third area is what I regard as a roundtable or advisory to clients. So what I would do at this point is I would sit down with the customer and we would look at the internal client interviews, advise utilizing best practice from other consultancies and other businesses that I've worked in the past. It may be the case that we look at things like a role play. It could be the case that we look at in-tray exercises. But this part, the round table part, is where we sort of look to sort of advise and give them a steer on in terms of best practice to create a process that is fit for purpose and is going to make sure that it keeps the candidates interested, but it also has the rigor to really establish what the key indicators and the key attributes that we need for a successful hire for this particular role. The next part of the process is called extend, and this refers to offer, the whole kind of process around terms presentation as well, negotiation, and also closing. And one of the big aspects, obviously, with any offer today is that we've got this whole issue of counter offer management. Now, because of the fact that we are still facing that old McKinsey war on talent, or war for talent, we need to be able to be in a position that we are making the right offers, but also managing this particular candidate through the process, to make sure that we can sort of make sure that we in a position that we can kind of overcome and make sure that they are aware of the reasons why they applied for the role in the first place, because it is quite an emotional journey trying to extract a candidate out of a customer or a rival client. So that's kind of the part which is extend. So we do provide advice and guidance, and we take on that aspect of that role for customers. The final part of the actual process is called the support part of it. And this is something that's very new that we provide over here compared to lots of other recruitment organizations. Now, because of the fact that I come from a CIPD background, and also that I have a advanced certified life coaching qualification, and I'm very sort of skilled in this area, and I've done a number of work with different types of clients out there. I'm able to provide some after placement coaching, so it's not just a case of just placing the candidate and just that's it. It's more of a sort of an extension, and it's about helping the HR team with the whole kind of onboarding process, and it's trying to sort of put together a series of tailored modules that will help the actual candidate to make a fast transition and integration into the company, and make sure that they add as much value as possible within the organization that they're joining. So some of the modules that I would look at would be things like the first 100 days, which is done before they would actually start the business. There's also things like solution-driven frameworks, limited belief eradication, tackling procrastination. There's also things like career guidance and personal mission statement creation as well. So these are just some of the other modules that I would be sort of looking to sort of push the particular hire through, and we would tend to sort of choose around 5 of these that we'd work on every few weeks after the person has actually joined. But obviously with the first 100 days, this would be something that would be which would take the candidate through before they join. So yeah, so this is kind of a brief outline in terms of a high level view of what it is that we do here. I'd be very keen to have a discussion with you at a later date if you've got any questions regarding this process and what we do over here. And yeah, obviously thank you very much for your time today, and I look forward to maybe having a catch up with you in the future. The best sort of number to catch me on is 07790998391, or alternatively you can catch me on eldon.davis@focusfutures.co.uk, and there's also my web address as well, www.focusfutures.co.uk, which you can also reach us on as well. Thank you very much for your time.